Now, you've been all over the internet. People are asking for your thoughts and your opinions because of the moment we're in our country with the Black Lives Matter movement and the importance of Black trans lives matter.
Yeah.
You've been really visible, really vocal. And, you know, for a lot of people, the fan reaction seeing you on Top Model originally, you were one of the first representations that they saw of a beautiful trans person who was, you know, portrayed not in a sensational way. What are your thoughts about the movement right now and where we are starting to come to as a country?
I don't know when this is going to air, but just last night I saw that another, I think she was Latin, but another trans person was found killed. It's tough. It's tough because we've come so far, but I still don't think that trans bodies are still respected enough to really make a dent in the way that it should. I think that we should be protected way more. Trans people are still being dead named, which is horrible because it's like even in death we can't be respected. I think it starts with home. I think that especially for Black people, I think that because of how we grew up in the church or, you know, the way Black people look at masculinity and what's deemed as masculine or feminine, I think that we should all go back to the drawing board in general, because I feel that if men are allowed to be feminine or be whoever they are, they won't be ostracized or made fun of for liking people like us, or for even being able to express who they are. I think that we should all just go back to the drawing board, because there's no way that trans people should be kicked out of the house. There's no way we should have such a high homeless rate, such a high suicide rate, such a high homicide rate. I feel like if families really love and support us the way that they are supposed to, that these numbers will go down, and also the taboo about being with us won't be there. And with that gone, I feel like the murder rate in itself will disappear.
Right, it's that taboo and that fear. You know, it's difficult, especially you talked about it on our show.
So mad.
The men who love trans women have to be very secretive about it.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, one thing I hate, and it makes me I'm really passionate about this. Whenever you see another murder, you see comments and people say like, "Stop tricking men," and it makes me so frustrated. It makes me so emotional to think about that, because reality is, for most of us, that's not the case. And a lot of times these men who are murdering us are men who have just done something sexual with the trans woman, usually knowing.
Right.
And if that's on you, if you can't handle who you are, if you haven't come to grips with who you are, that's not on a trans person. We're not a punching bag. We're not an object for you to harm because you can't figure out who the hell you are. That's not fair. So no, we're not out here trying to trick people. We're just out here trying to live our lives and survive. And I think that these men have to really be held accountable. And the trans panic, and I didn't know. I always go back to Esau Nettles in Harlem, walking down the street midday with her friends, and a group of guys came up, and one guy tried to talk to her, and she turned him down, and he literally killed her because he kept bothering her and found out that she was trans. You know, so it's like, it's not me trying to trick you. I'm literally just trying to live my life. If I don't want to be bothered, or if I tell you and then you do something with me sexually, and then you decide, oh, take back. Like, this is not Uno. You can't pull out a reverse card.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the case a lot of the times, but it's just so easy to say, stop tricking men. And we're not on this earth to trick people. We're on this earth to live our lives. We've always been here since the beginning of time, whether history books take us out or not.
Right.
It's always knowledge and history about two spirits and trans people and eunuchs, whatever the situation is. We've always been here, and we will always be here. And it's just that simple. Just respect us and love us, and stop thinking that we exist solely to trick people.
Yeah. And trans people have been at the forefront of so many things in our culture, in the LGBTQ culture, yet there still seems to be some transphobia in the community. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
In terms of LGBT, or in terms of, I just think that a lot of times we're the butt of the jokes, you know? We can influence looks, we can influence bodies, we can influence hair, wigs, makeup, fashion, we can influence everything. But when it comes to getting a respect, it's not there. It's just weird. It's weird, especially when it comes to Black trans people, you know, and it sucks. I think that's all I can really say about it, because it's just like, what can you, it's not really for me, it's for the rest of the community to figure it out, because I feel like trans people, especially trans women of color, I just feel like we deal with so much, and we speak so much, and we try to educate so much, and it's like, when the hell is everybody else gonna come up to the line and really do the work that needs to be done? Because how can we continue to be the teacher if you're not willing to learn?
Exactly. Our community has to step up and protect one of our most important resources within the community, the beauty and magic of trans women. I mean, look at the feminine aesthetic that straight women have taken on now.
That's what I was.
That's straight.
That's what I was talking about.
Trans beauty queen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's now translated to straight celebrities, but look where it originated. It originated in the trans community.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
We discussed the bathroom bill last time you were on, which is, of course, an absurd bill. And now we're dealing with the president proposing a rule that federally funded homeless shelters can deny trans people.
Yeah.
Now, that is truly a crime. What are your feelings?
I think that because trans and LGBT people, but especially trans people, have the highest homeless rate, I think it sucked that he continues to single us out. I feel like we're looked at as the weakest link, and people look at it and say, oh, you know, well, this doesn't affect me. And then I see he's trying to do so many things with like birth control for women and other things, and I'm just like, oh, how do you feel now? He's starting with us because we're looked at as the weakest link, but he will continue to take away things. I think it's people of color, I think it's LGBT, I think it's women. He just don't care about people. I think it sucks that we're always on this end, and I'm thankful that I was in New York at an actual LGBT homeless shelter. But when I first transitioned and when I first went into the shelter, I was actually at Covenant House, Newark, New Jersey for a week, which was pretty scary. It was the first time they let someone who wasn't cis live on the floor with the girls. And I was in a room with like 6 people. You know, it was an emergency situation, and luckily they got me into Ali Fournay. But that can be scary, because what if Ali Fournay or LGBT shelter is booked up? Where do you go? You know, you don't deserve to be raped or killed or robbed because you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have any support. And I think it just sucks that we have someone in office who literally do not care about anybody but himself. And I think it might seem like it's a trans issue, but it's bigger than that, because he is taking away rights for us in every single division he's trying, like he possibly can. And he will continue to do that with other people. So I think it should be a red flag for not just trans people, but for everybody in the LGBT community, and then people outside of it, everybody.
He
doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care. He only care about rich white men.
Yeah, exactly.
And girls with big tits.
We as the LGBTQ community need to protect everybody in our rainbow, and we all need to step up, because you're right, we're all next.
Yeah, and we have to, I don't know when this is going to air, but hopefully we have to get him out of office. It's really scary.
We all need to vote, and we all need to step up, because
vote,
we can't
guys,
take it.
Girls, everybody, vote, please.
You're doing the important thing, is you're getting out there, and you're really, I mean, I was following everything you've been on social. You've been on so many panels. You've really put things so eloquently, and honey, you looking good doing it.
Thank you. I actually did a panel a week and a half ago, or a few weeks ago, and then one of the networks was on the panel, and they wanted to have a meeting. So I actually did a Zoom meeting with some casting for one of the major networks. And it was just a general where I kind of tell them who I am and talk about what I'm interested in. So, you know, hopefully that turns into something, because, you know, a sister trying to get a series of regular job.
Yes, honey. Now, be sure that you're following us on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., 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 at Hey Qween TV. All right, Isis, it's time to get into it.
Get into it. Get into it.
This is new.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Let's talk about your big break, your role on Netflix, When They See Us. What an experience.
It was such an experience because for me, throughout my years as an actress, number one, I'm a reality star. I was a reality star, and then also I'm a model. So those two things together, I feel like always made it harder for me with auditions and to be taken seriously as an actress. I went into the audition, well, it was a self-tape, and I had to do it the next day, and I did it with my manager. Then I got a call to fly out to New York to meet with Ava for a second audition, like right away. It was quick, because they were already filming. And I ended up going to a prison on Long Beach. I feel like not Long Beach, Long Island in New York. I went in a room with Ava, and then Jarrell came in because they were already filming him in a prison, and it was the rest of the casting team there. And I remember doing the two scenes. Like, my parts were before and pre and post transition. So I remember for the second part with to play Norman, who was my character before transition, I said, look, I gotta get this. Because in the past, like, it would be so hard for me to get a role because they would say, oh, you're too petite, you're too small, you're too passable. Now they say you're too pretty, but I've heard all the first ones, which are not politically correct. But I heard those throughout my career, so I was just like, I have to get this. Like, this would be perfect for me to show everyone that, you know, I take this seriously. I've been doing it for so many years before that. Since 2009, I've been acting, 2010. And I feel like this could be something to really show people I'm serious, and I don't have to be, like, pretty. So I remember for that second part, she was like, okay, so do this part. And I was like, okay. And I had like a flannel around my waist, and I put it on because I knew it could camouflage my boobs. And I was like, I took my wig off. I was like, can I take off my wig? She was like, you don't have to. I was like, I want to. I had some fresh cornrows underneath, and I was just like, I might not look like it now, but in my head, I was like, let me show her that I'm really serious. So I did that for the second part, and then the next day I found out I got it, and I remember just crying, like, thinking that this is something, no matter how big or small this role is, this is a role that allows people to see me outside of being a model type. And I think that was so important for me as an actress and for my growth, and just to just show the world. And I did it. And I love Ava. She was awesome, and the crew was awesome. Niecy was awesome. It was literally a dream.
Tell me about working with Ava and what her directing style was. Like, how much prep time did you get? You had some very dramatic scenes. How much scene work did you have to do beforehand? Tell me about your process in, creating the performance and working with Ava.
So it was kind of quick because they were already in the jail scene. So when I got it, I think it was like late August of 2018. Jeez, time is going by so fast.
Yeah.
It was like August 2018, and then I ended up staying in New York the whole month of September because I knew they would need me on and off, and so I just stayed at my best friend's house, you know. I lived in New York for 10 years, so I was happy to be back. And they had me come in. I met with a coach who was really, really, really awesome, and they wanted me to meet with a coach because it would be three cameras, 6 different shots for Niecy, 6 different shots for me. It was like quick and like they needed me to get there quick. So he just wanted to help me. Like, I never had a problem getting there emotionally and quick, but he just wanted me to do it in a healthier way, just because I had to keep doing it, and he just didn't want me to be emotionally drained by the time we got all the shots. So I think if anything, it was just the coaching to help me kind of build up with Niecy getting her shots and just help me get there and not be like a wreck.
Right.
You know, a wreck afterwards, because it was, you know, it did hit really close to home. And, you know, I was just excited to be there. Ava's style is so awesome. It was the first time I worked with a female director, and she was just so warm and like compassionate and gentle, but she was so powerful, you know. Whenever she needed one-on-one time, she would tell everyone to step out, and she would ask me, how are you feeling? I know this is an intense scene, how are you? And she would like put her hand on my shoulder and just talking to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love you. You know, I want to be like, I love you. But I'm trying to be professional, but I'm also thinking about, like the night before I had like dreams all through the night about that one emotional scene. And I was just thinking, I just want to make her proud. I know I can do it, but I just want to make her proud. And I remember telling her that, and then I remember at the end when we got it, she gave me a hug and said, I'm proud of you, that was awesome. And I remember just crying again because I was like, oh, I just wanted to make her, she's such a empowering and powerful and intelligent director, and I just really respected her so much before meeting her. And it's always hard when you meet, I met so many people that I respected and ended up working with, and it's just always hard because you never know how it's gonna go. And I was just happy that she was everything I thought she would be and more. And yeah, it was definitely the best experience I've had because I learned. I've worked with a director before who was super aggressive with the cast and literally made almost everybody cry. And it was not fun. And to work with her.
What movie was that?
I'll tell you offline. But to work with her and to see her be gentle but so powerful and still like have so much respect through everybody, the whole cast and crew, everybody was amazing and got along and it was like a family. And to see that she could be gentle but still so powerful, it was so different than what I experienced in some cases. And it was just so empowering.
Hello, children!